Hello everyone, this is part 6 video on past year NEET questions from the topic electrochemistry. We'll start with a question that has come in the year 1996. 5 ampere current, it's a question based on the Faraday's laws of electrolysis. 5 ampere current is passed through a solution of zinc sulfate, means it contains zinc 2 plus ions and SO4 2 minus ions. Okay. Now for 40 minutes, means the time is also given. For how much time we are passing current. So current is given, time is given. If you multiply current with time, of course, we should convert the time into seconds. Then we will get the charge that is passed into solution in terms of coulombs. The question is what is the amount of the zinc deposited at the cathode. So zinc is the cation, it will reach the cathode and it will get reduced at the cathode. So zinc metal is going to be deposited at the cathode. So this is a straight formula question on the Faraday's electrolysis. So what is the thing we have? The weight of the substance deposited is equal to E by 96,500 into charge in coulomb. This is a formula for the Faraday's electrolysis. So E is what? Equivalent weight of the substance. See, first we must know what is the atomic weight of zinc. What is the atomic weight of zinc? It is 65.39 grams. This is the atomic weight of zinc. Okay, so atomic weight of zinc is what? 65.39 grams. So zinc is getting discharged from zinc 2 plus, means zinc 2 plus will take 2 electrons to form zinc. Number of electrons exchanged is what? 2. So the equivalent weight will be equal to what? The atomic weight 65.39 grams divided by valency factor is 2, because it is exchanging 2 electrons. For the ions, right, when they are getting discharged, how do you calculate the equivalent weight? The atomic weight of the respective ion, we are talking about the metallic ions. Atomic weight of the respective ion divided by the valency factor. Okay, so this will give us the E value. But what about the charge? See, 5 ampere current is passed for 40 minutes, right? Means 5 into 40 into 60. That will be the charge in coulombs. Why? Because we are converting minutes into seconds, right? Each minute will be 60 seconds. So if you substitute them in this expression, W will be equal to what? 65.39 grams divided by 2 into 96,500 into what is the charge? 5 into 40 into 60. So this will straight away give us the W in grams. So 2 ones are 2 20s. 5 20s are 100. 100 into 60 is 600. So what we have? 65.39 grams into 600 divided by 96,500. This, when we simplify it, right, we will get the value as close to 4.065. In this question, the only thing that we have to be careful about is how do we get the equivalent weight. And of course, in most of the examinations, you will see whenever this kind of question is given, you will see that they will also give us the atomic weight of the zinc. Only in this case, they would missed it out. So when they give the atomic weight of zinc, we will be able to easily use that value. Okay. So other than that, it's a straight formula based question. So the correct answer for this is option C. Next we look at a question which has come in 96. Zinc becoming zinc 2 plus 2 electrons. E naught value is what? 0.76. So we must understand one thing, that here what is actually happening, it is not reduction, it is actually oxidation. Okay. Similarly, Fe becoming Fe2 plus 2 electrons. E naught is what? 0.44. This is also indicating what? Oxidation. So these potentials, they are not actually reduction potentials. What they are? They are actually oxidation potentials. The EMF of the cell reaction. What is the cell reaction? Fe2 plus zinc giving rise to zinc 2 plus Fe. Means which is undergoing the oxidation. The zinc is undergoing oxidation to form zinc 2 plus by releasing 2 electrons. Fe2 plus is undergoing reduction. It is taking 2 electrons to form Fe. Okay, so we have to find the cell EMF, right? So what is the cell EMF formula? We have, I think in one of the previous problems also we have seen. Cell EMF, normally what is the convention that we follow? It is the reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. It is the reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. If you have to express this in terms of the oxidation potentials, what will be the thing? Reduction potential of cathode means minus oxidation potential of cathode. By the way, this is the anode part and this is the cathode part. Okay, cathode means reduction happens. This is where the reduction is happening, right? Anode means oxidation happens. So how do we express the EMF value in terms of oxidation potential? Look at this. Reduction potential of cathode can be written as what? Negative of oxidation potential of cathode, because for any electrode, the oxidation potential, reduction potential will be what? They will be negative of each other. Minus of reduction potential of anode can be what again? Minus oxidation potential of anode. So we can see the minus of minus becomes what? Plus. So finally what we have is oxidation potential of anode minus oxidation potential of cathode. So cell EMF can be also given as what? Oxidation potential of anode minus oxidation potential of cathode. What is the oxidation potential of anode? That zinc one is what? 0.76. 0.76 volt minus what is the oxidation potential of this cathode? 0.44. 0.44, which is what? 0.32 volt. This is the EMF value of the given cell reaction. So normally, as a convention, we will only talk about the reduction potentials. That's why, we will use the equation as what? Cell EMF is equal to the reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. But we can also express the cell EMF value in terms of the oxidation potentials. So the correct answer for this is option D. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 1995. An electrochemical cell is set up as platinum H2 HCl. This is our, what is this? This is the standard hydrogen electrode. Okay. And CH3COOH H2 platinum. So basically we have two hydrogen electrodes. Both sides are what? Hydrogen electrodes. So this side also we have a hydrogen electrode, this side also we have a hydrogen electrode. The difference is on one side we have HCl, other side we have what? CH3COOH. Now the EMF of this cell will not be zero. Generally what we see, if the concentration of HCl here is 0.1 molar. Here also what is the concentration of CH3COOH? 0.1 molar. Okay, and what is the pressure of H2 here? 1 atm. Pressure of H2 is what? 1 atm. So what is the electrode? The hydrogen electrode E value is what? E value will be E naught minus 0. Assuming we are at the same 298 Kelvin temperature, 0.0591 by N is also 1 into log of the reduction equation, right? Will be what? 2H plus 2 electrons gives rise to H2. Okay, so which means what? Which means the Q value will be pressure of H2 product side divided by H plus ion concentration the square. So log of pressure of H2 divided by the H plus ion concentration. So here we will take the number of electrons as what? 2. I mean as per the reaction that we are expressing. Okay, because we will see that 2 electrons will be exchanged. Okay, so the value of E is equal to what? E naught minus 0.0591 by 2 into log of pressure of H2 by pressure of H plus. So this is the electrode potential. Now on LHS we have the hydrogen electrode, RHS also we have hydrogen electrode. E naught value of the hydrogen electrode is what? 0. Which means on LHS side, what is the electrode potential? E will be equal to what? Minus 0.0591 by 2 into log of pressure of H2 is 1 divided by H plus the square. Now the LHS side and RHS side, if you look at it, right, the H plus will be coming from HCl in the LHS side. HCl is a strong acid. So the total concentration of HCl will be dissociated to give us 0.1 molar H plus. But in the RHS side, the CH3COOH will not fully dissociate, which means what? The H plus value on the RHS side will be different. So as a result of it, right, the electrode potential of the LHS will be different from electrode potential of RHS. If both are same, then the cell EMF will be 0. But both are not same. Why they are not same? Because the H plus ions are not in same concentration. It is not about the concentration of the acid, right? HCl is a strong acid. 0.1 molar gives 0.1 molar of H plus, means it will give us a particular value of pH. But if you take the same 0.1 molar acetic acid, it is not going to give us the same pH value. So the pH value of 0.1 molar HCl and 0.1 molar CH3COOH, they will not be the same. So if they are not same, means what is going to happen? The electrode potential of the LHS will be different from the electrode potential of the RHS. Means the cell EMF will not be 0, because cell EMF is what? the electrode potential of the RHS, which is the cathode, minus electrode potential of the LHS, which is the anode. So correct answer for this is what? Option D. So since the H plus ion concentration, which we also call in terms of what? pH, because what is pH? Minus log of H plus ion concentration. So the H plus ion concentration or the pH value, right, for the HCl side and the acetic acid side, these two will be different. That's why the electrode potentials will not match. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1985. On heating one end of a piece of metal, the other end becomes hot because of. So means, when we heat one end of the metal, right, the other end becomes hot. So this is not actually a question related to the electrochemistry itself, but it's a general question on the heat transfer. So what happens is these electrons on the side where we are heating, right, they will get the energy, and these energized electrons, right, they will start moving. So that's why the availability of the free electrons, right, is critical for having a good thermal conductivity also. Metals, while they are good conductors in terms of electricity in solid state, they are also good conductors of heat. Why? Because they have mobile electrons. So what is the reason the other end becomes hot? It is because the energized electrons, right, they will move to the other end. So just like the way the electrons will move under the influence of the electric field, the energized electrons also will start moving to the other side, because of which we will see that the other end is getting heated. So that is the reason why metals, they will be both good conductors of electricity as well as heat, whereas this does not happen in non-metals. That's why they will be acting as insulators. They will not be able to conduct heat fast. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1994. The standard reduction potentials at 25 degrees centigrade of lithium electrode, barium, sodium, magnesium. What are the reduction potentials? Minus 3.05, minus 2.9, minus 2.71, minus 2.37. Which of the following is the strongest oxidizing agent? Now I think we have seen couple of questions like this. So whenever we see a question like this, they are asking, which is a strong oxidizing agent, which is a strong reducing agent. First thing is we have to arrange them like the way they appear in the reduction potential series. We have to arrange them the way they appear in the reduction potential series. What is the order in which you arrange them? The high reduction potential will be at the top, low reduction potential will be at the bottom. If you look at these things, right, all are negative metals. Which is the least of them? Lithium. So lithium plus lithium, right, that is what? Minus 3.05. Then the next list is what? Minus 2.9, which is of course the barium. So barium is what? Barium 2 plus becoming barium. Okay. Then the next list will be what? Minus 2.71, which is of course the sodium part. Then comes among the given the highest, which is the magnesium. Okay. So if you look at this, the conclusion is simple. So if you have the substances at the top means what? They will, here we are not talking about the actual value, we are talking about the relative. Top ones, they will be able to relatively easily undergo reduction. Now when I say easily undergo reduction, it is not like magnesium will undergo reduction. We are only talking in terms of the relative. The bottom right, the least, will be able to easily undergo oxidation. Again, we are only talking in terms of the relative. So here where the reduction happens easily at the top, means if you look at what they are asking, strongest oxidizing agent. So whichever is able to easily undergo reduction, that will have what we say high oxidizing power, isn't it? Because if it itself is undergoing reduction, means what? It will be able to have high oxidizing power. Otherwise we can say it is a strong oxidizing agent. So oxidation means it will be like this: magnesium 2 plus. Okay, magnesium 2 plus is the one that will be able to act as a strong oxidizing agent. Why? Because it will easily undergo reduction, right? It will undergo reduction by taking electrons, and thereby it forms magnesium. We are only talking in terms of the relative among the four substances given. So magnesium 2 plus will easily undergo reduction. means that will be the one which will be having high oxidizing power. So what is the correct answer for this? Option B. So whenever the given substances, we are arranging them in the electrode potential series rod. The higher ones, they will easily undergo reduction relatively. Lower ones, they will easily undergo oxidation. Means higher ones will have a high oxidizing power, and lower ones, since they easily undergo oxidation, we can say their reducing power is high. That's why, right, all metals, they will sit at the bottom of the reduction potential series. Their reducing power is high. Metals are good reducing agents. Okay, but this question is not about the reducing power. This is about the oxidizing power. Among the given ones, right, relatively, which is the strongest oxidizing agent? It is, of course, Mg2+. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 92. On electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acid using platinum electrodes. See, platinum electrodes are also called as what? The inert electrodes. They will not be participating in any given reaction. On electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acid using platinum electrodes, the product obtained at the anode will be. So what is going to happen? We are having dilute sulfuric acid. Means along with, see, sulfuric acid, right? It will be giving us what? The sulfate ions. Sulfuric acid and dissociation will give us what? Sulfate ions. Since it is dilute, along with sulfate ions, we also will have OH minus ions. So when we look at the anode, right? At the anode, we have both sulfate ions reaching and as well as OH minus. The discharge will be for the OH minus. Anode, what must happen? Oxidation. Okay, anode, there must be oxidation. The one that will have a lower reduction potential, that will undergo what? Oxidation. The one that will have a higher reduction potential will undergo reduction. The one that will have a lower reduction potential will undergo oxidation. So between these two, the OH minus will undergo the oxidation. Means what? 2 OH minus will lose electrons, of course, and it will form H2O plus half O2. So there will be an oxidation basically. There will be an oxidation where the OH minus will be losing electrons. So what do you see getting produced at the anode? It will be the oxygen gas. So during the electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acid, right, at the anode, there will be the oxidation of OH minus ions, and that will be producing oxygen gas. So this is about the part 6 video and also the last video of this electrochemistry chapter, and we'll see in the next chapter.